So welcome back. Time to put the engine in the frame, but it's not going to come as a surprise to you. Shit's gone and happened like it normally does. So I bought titanium bolt set for the engine mounting bolts, and I don't know why, didn't check it, didn't notice it or what. Bolts don't come with nuts, so yeah, I've had to wait for the nuts. So what I'm going to do is, when I get it in, I'll use the new bolts and I'll just put the old nut finger tight on the other end. So yeah, once the new nuts come, I can just swap them over and then I can torque all the bolts up. But I'm really keen to get the engine in. I'm kind of losing momentum with where everything is. So I think if I can get the engine in, then I can start to do other bits and pieces. And you know what it's like when you start to see progress, you start to get more enthused in doing a bit of work to it. So the other thing that I want to do as well is I want to get this tape off of the frame as quick as I can, just in case it does any damage to the new paint. I mean, it's, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks since it's been sprayed, so it should be quite hard, but I've not used this tape before, so I don't know how sticky the adhesive is on it. Anyway, the other bit of shit that happened was I cleaned up the Kickstarter and it's come up, I won't say like new, but it's come up fairly well. Put it on, went to move the engine, and then suddenly thought, well hang on, that looks a little bit slack. And I didn't notice it when I got the bike, brought the bike in and fired it up, because I wasn't moving it around, I didn't ride it. It was literally flick the kickstart out, kick it a couple of times, fired it up, put the kickstart back in, no worries. But the ball bearing that goes up on the inside was missing, so the actual kickstart is flapping around like a prick in a bucket. And I tried to make sure I pick the right spring up. I was looking for a slightly newer spring as part of the kit. There's nothing wrong with the screw that holds the kickstart on. The seal is easily serviceable. There's the titchy little spring, and then the ball bearing just sits in one end of the spring. Now I've only found one place that I can buy the kit from on eBay, but it's a 4-week delivery. I mean, it's just taking the piss, but it's coming from China, so I don't really trust the Chinese parts anyway. So I'm going to reuse what I've got. Everything there is fine, it's just the ball bearing. Do you think I could find what size ball bearing it was? No, I think it's a 5, it's possibly a 6mm, but I've ordered a box of assorted ball bearings for the sake of a tenner. I might just as well have a few spares. You never know what else you're going to need them for. So with that said, let's see if we can get this bitch back in the frame. So the first thing I've got to do is put some eyes on so I can see what the hell I'm doing. I need to take the nut off of the swing arm bolt, which luckily is only on finger tight. Here we go, it's me getting covered in grease. I haven't even started yet. Now what I've got to try and do is get the bolt out far enough to get the engine to go in there, put the bolt back through. If I take the bolt right out, the swing arm's going to drop down, then I've got to try and hold the frame, the engine, the swing arm and push the bolt in, which is going to be a complete pain in the arse. So we'll see if we can just do a bit at a time. That's one side out of the frame. See where we go with that. Well, we're not perfect, but that is real close to being lined up. Kind of reluctant to put my fingers down the back because I think it's the back that needs to come up a wee bit. Yeah, so come up and forward. This is where you need the extra pairs of hands, because if I pull too hard, I'm just going to pull the frame off. So with that much left to go, that's literally just on the bracket. Don't want to be tapping it too hard. I know how soft these bolts are. So things changed a little bit after I turned the camera off last night. As you can see, the engine's now in, but I couldn't get it lined up with the swing arm and get it into position with the engine mount bolts and holes with the swing arm in, so I've had to go the other way. And when I look back, I actually had the swing arm disconnected when I took the engine out, so that's just lack of experience really. Unfortunately I did damage the paintwork on the frame just a little bit, not too badly, but once I got the swing arm back in, I can then just do a little bit of touching up, and then I can leave it for a couple of days just to harden off. You know what it's like when you kind of had enough of it and started to lose your temper a little bit. I ended up walking away twice and come back, and I think it took me about an hour and a half to get the bloody thing in the end. So let's try and get the swing arm connected back up again, and then I can connect the rear shock back up. That's just one bolt for that. It was only actually 2 bolts to get the whole damn thing back together as I wanted it. So yeah, I'll crack on. Not really thought this out too well. So we'll see what happens. I might end up having to move you, because the front leg of the tripod is right where I need to put the stool that I'm going to balance the swing arm on. Let me reposition you. I'll bring you around here a bit more. Might even be a better view for you. Right. See if I can position myself in a position where I can catch all of the caps. So there's 4 of these caps on either side of each side of the swinging arm, and when they slide between the frame and the engine, they're about to fall off. Can reach the bolt. So this is where you're going to need about 17 pairs of bloody hands. Make sure all the caps are fully on, otherwise it narrows the gap. Let's try it. The issue that I've got is the only other pair of hands I've got here is Mrs. Yankee, and she won't go on film. So I think we're lined up. It's literally just a case of wriggling to get it in. Come on, you cow. See if I tap it up. Force in to go that way. So sod's law, the battery went, and that was a new battery in there last night. Let's get the phone out of my pocket. Luckily I bought a spare battery out with me, so let's try again. So we're winning slowly, just a matter of working out which way. I know which way it wants to go, but getting it to go that way, just by wriggling, ain't proving that easy. Come on. Careful tapping this side, or I'm going to end up breaking the slipper again. And about half a hole out. Actually not, we're a full hole out. So titanium with my eyes. I think we're half a hole out now. Yeah, it's just a matter of getting it to same old problem, getting it up. You've got to be careful of is that I don't do that. Oh, you bastard. Yeah, it's better. Been doing that with now. Move the back out a bit. Half a hole. This is going to be real dodgy. Let's see if I can pull the whole damn thing forward again. Come on. Oh, you bastard, I don't believe that I've fucking moved. No, I can't reach the bolt. Yeah. Come on. Fucking hell. It's a match cock out. I think I'm going to need Mrs. Yankee. That is so close. Once I get one side in, I know it'll slide through. You bastard. Got to come forward about 1 millimetre and go up about half a millimetre. just being a bastard. Come on. Right, can breathe again. If I can get up anyway. Yeah. I noticed that I haven't got a boot on as well. The issue I've got now is I've got to learn to walk again, because the operation made it all different for me, and also I've got to build the strength up in my leg. So let's just see. I'm going to have to come and block you, I think, for a bit. Ta-da! So I had to get Mrs. Yankee to help me. All I need to do now is tighten up the engine mount bolts and torque them, re-torque the rear shock bolt, and torque the swing arm through the frame bolt, and then that's done. Then we can start adding other bits on, which will follow shortly. Okay, so slight update for you. As you can see, the electrics are back on. It's stupid o'clock in the middle of the night, and I was just doing a little bit of tidying up, and I cleaned all the electrics, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put them on. So it's dead simple. I've replaced the bolts that I'm going to call it a condenser. I know it's not, but that's what I'm going to call it because my brain is not working. So I've replaced the bolts that hold that in. They're just literally bolting from the other side. Connected the earth wire up, and connected, I believe that's the positive that comes out, which then goes into the CDI, and then it gets spread all over the place. HT lead on. Now at the moment I can't make up my mind which side of the frame it went down. I think it went down this side, but when I start to put the radiators and the tank back on, it will become glaringly obvious if it should have gone down the other side. CDI's just slid onto a not a spline, that's the wrong word. This is what happens when you're doing it when you're tired. Like a blade that sticks out, and it's literally just the rubber part that slides onto that. So that all goes down there. Then you've got the plugs around the back here, which plugged into these two wires that go down into the stator case. Connect those back up. Fairly simple, can't get it wrong because the wires are colour coded from this to this. So unless you're a complete idiot or colourblind. So that's one fork in. I'm sorry I didn't film it, but I needed too many hands, and I knew that it was going to take longer than 10 minutes once I started. So basically I was struggling to get the fork leg up into the yokes, and the clamp, I had the bolts right out, but the clamp was still like really tight, and if it wasn't 100% dead straight, it wouldn't go through the first one. And I was hoping that whatever I'd got through the first one would then be straight to go in the second one, and it kind of was, but I just couldn't get enough grip on it. So then I had to stop and put some gloves on so that I could get a further grip on the stanchion itself to be able to get it up there, and now I'm fucked. So I'm going to probably put the other one in tomorrow morning, but essentially this isn't really a how-to. Most of you know how to put a fork in by now, but it's kind of lucky actually that this fork balances on the floor. But literally up through there, you get on the floor, that's you, slide him up, and then once you've got it in, they need to be the same level at the top. Now I've got mine just the thickness of the cap poking out the top, so I can use that as a marker, so it's about 1/2 mil. Do the other one the same side, do the clamps up. At the moment they're just nipped just to stop it from falling out. Obviously I need to check the torque setting, get the torque setting right. Once I've got the torque wrench out and I've torqued them, I can then torque up the head nut, because that's probably just things to, oh, it's actually pulled a little bit tighter with me moving it around, but essentially it's only finger tight. And then once that's on, I guess we could really start maybe putting the carburetor in. I need to clean up the airbox because I've not done that yet. Clean up the airbox, put the subframe on, which is up there, and then it really will start to look bike shaped. And most of it's just bolting stuff back on then. Once I've got the other fork in, I'll put the handlebars in, but I'm not going to put them in at the moment because they're just going to get in the way. Because of the amount of space I've got here and the fact that I'm doing it on my own and I haven't got a proper bike stand for it, it's just balanced on a little bracket that I made for it. It's like a proper balancing act. I think the camera will probably pick that up, but so yeah, it will go either way. It's balanced there. As long as nobody knocks it, it won't go anywhere. The second I put the second fork in it, it's going to be front end heavy. But I was planning on putting the axle in and then putting an axle stand underneath, just to keep it in its right position, which would be sort of there-ish, something like that. I'm guessing that's about the right height for the middle of the wheel. So it'll be about there, but there's no harm in it sitting down for the moment. So I'm going to go to bed and you'll pick me up again in a few seconds. For me it'll be a few hours. No night. So it's probably, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour since I put that fork in, and I went indoors, and by the time I got indoors I was like proper wide awake again. I thought, bollocks, I'll come out and I'll put the other fork in, and I wish I'd had the video going now because that one went in so much easier. I think the weight of this one is actually holding the front end a bit stiller, and it just walloped straight up. So whether or not it was just which one was I struggling with, top clamp on this side, all I've done was I just put a screwdriver in there and not levered it, but literally just drove the wedge of the screwdriver in to open it. Probably, I don't know, maybe a thou or 2 thou, just enough to let it slide up. All my fingerprints all over the front of it now, so they all need to be wiped off later. It's coming up for 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So, done that. I'm getting sleepy again, so with any luck I'll go in and get some sleep this time and see what occurs. So hopefully catch you shortly for you and tomorrow for me. Okay, so finally time to start putting the rear subframe on, and the main reason for that is I wanted to get the carb in, and with the carb in That means the airbox can go on, and I've got to clean that. And for the airbox to go on, I need the subframing to hold it. So as I'm going through this, I've not shown any of it before, but as I go through each bit, I'm just chasing out the threads with the tap, just to make sure that they're perfectly clean. That doesn't really want to go through that way. Let's give that another try. Oh, we might be lucky, because the threads on the back, yeah, we're good to go. I mean, most of these are pretty clear because it's not been powder coated. Powder coating is a lot worse for filling the threads up, but if you've not done this sort of thing, a tap and die set is really worth getting. I mean, I've got probably 3 different sets, and most of them, I think I've got some Imperial, most are metric, but you'd be surprised how handy they come in, especially for something like this. So what you don't want to do is go putting the bolt back in there, especially if you're using new ones, and end up knackering. Ooh, that was in there well, wasn't it? End up either knackering the thread on the bolt or knackering the thread on your captive nut. So, I mean, they do like really expensive sets. Mine aren't really expensive, but with tools, work on the principle of always get the most expensive you can. There will be a time when you can upgrade your cheaper ones. And you obviously need to make sure that this is true to the hole. If you go through at the angle, not only will you clean the thread, but you'll start cutting a new thread and fuck up the existing one. Oh, you might have noticed I've put the kickstarter back on. Ball bearing came for that. It just stops it from flapping around like a prick in a bucket. I mean, it still moves around lovely, but it's not going to vibrate and swing round and get in the way of your leg when you're riding. Not that this is going to get rid of much. It might do when I sell it. I think if I was not in the physical condition that I'm in now, then it will definitely get at least used at a practice track regularly, possibly even try and get into the vets somewhere. And if, oh, that was the other thing, if you've never cut a thread before, just give it a little bit, and the second you feel it starting to go tight, just turn it back half a turn. I mean, this is going really loose now, and all it does is just going back half a turn, it pulls the crap out that it's cutting. Pulls the crap out that it's cutting, puts it into the flutes there, so that it always keeps the cutting threads clean. So the only ones we're cutting at the moment are these bottom 2. This is just a through bolt with a nut on the other side. Let me just put this away before I lose it. I'm normally really good with putting tools away, and for some unknown reason with this build I'll be leaving tools bloody everywhere. Either for me to go arse over tip, or God knows what else. Anyway. So this is the original bolt that came out of the top, and I forgot to get a replacement for it, so the original one's going back in. It's not in bad condition. Paint on the ends fairly good. I've got hiccups now. And the paint on the nut itself isn't great. So I'm going to have a look and see if I've got one then. If I've got one to right size. Should be one in here. Fuck me. Look at that. This bike has got a, or appears to have got a mixture with the M8s and M10s of 1.5 and 1.25. So this is a nice shiny nylock, so it won't come undone. See if I can put a washer on the end of it, because the other nut was flanged. Washers are this way. Will you go in there? Oh, fuck me, we're cooking with gas today. I've even started a box for all the nuts and bolts that have been replaced and have been taken off the bike. So if I lose anything, I've got spares. Right, this is going to need a cloth, because I suddenly realised it's been about 3 months since this was painted. It's really dusty, really dusty. Get the worst of it off, and then once the bike's all built, then it can go back together. So that's finger tight at the bottom there, literally just up to the nylock. That was the 2 new ones. Gonna need to get down there, aren't I? Torch. See what I'm doing. Come on. You wouldn't believe how close that is. So these 2 little babies down here, these are 28.8. I've just seen that the red light's on the battery, so I'm going to try and get them done before it dies on me. didn't think they were this loose. There we go. Let's pull that off of there. Go quicker on this side. I might end up having to take these two back out anyway to get the airbox in, because I took it all out as a one, but I'm hoping I can get them back in individually. Come on, you bastard. Get it off of there in a minute. This little baby up here is the same. Why you no fit? Wrong socket, you silly sod. Come on. Thank you. That's soft-frame back on. Well, that's all you're going to get for this video, because it's about to die. So I'm just going to stick my head in here. We'll get the rest of it done. It's now at a stage where leaps forward should be bound. I think that makes sense anyway. Yeah, catch you on the next one. Bye. So, I forgot to add, and you probably will have seen a little message at the beginning of this video. Sadly, one of my viewers passed away, and she was really into this build. So, Yvonne, I'm going to finish this for you, my darling. Sleep well.